All right, everyone, let's get going here. Happy Friday. The markets are up here, but really big deal. They're not breaking out. So what does it mean? Well, it means buyers are still in control and not giving up. And I guess whatever news is going on out there, take a peek. Maybe because bonds are going down. Who knows? Anyway, until we need something of significance happening here. So anyway, let's just go through what's going on here. And so we can see the spiders are up here a little bit, but as I said, they're not breaking out. So for whatever reason, they're gapping up. We don't care since it's not anything of any significance, but we'll see if it can hold on to the gap. And if it does over whatever, 15, 30 minutes and can take it out, and the assumption is it'll go back up to the highs and maybe it gets through these highs. We'll see. With the spiders, we got a bottoming tail bar a couple of days ago. Yesterday, markets were in a coma, inside days pretty much everywhere, which means indecision. Nobody's kind of sitting back. Oh, thank you, Robert. But everything I do is well done. It's a little humor, but it's the truth. So thank you for that. Anyway, inside days, so we don't know what's going on here as far as, well, we know the trend is up. It's not broken any support. It was a resting day. Resting days with an uptrends are suggestive of just that, and then the trend will continue. We have no reason to believe that the trend won't continue. A stall, a red bar within a trend, is just that. It doesn't violate the trend. Now, I've talked all week about the fact that prices are right up against this prior resistance and that there hasn't been a break of a prior weekly low. And assuming it doesn't happen today, that'll be 9 weeks. And my recent view back in several decades showed that the most markets moved up without a break of a prior weekly low was 10 weeks. So maybe next week is another churner. We shall see. 24 years, they said, CNBC said last week, without a weekly loss. So a weekly loss could be just closing below the prior week's close. That would be a loss. That's different. And so it would be a loss if it closed below the prior week's low, but just being a loss doesn't mean it closed below the prior week's low. So two distinct things. One would automatically mean the other. So we'll see what happens by the end of today, whether this sells off or not, and just holds. And then we have number 9. And then we'll look to see number 10, if number 10 is in the cards. So that's where we're at. We got a red bar so far. We'll see if that red bar turns green by the end of the day, which means the markets have rallied back up into this high area. And then the next step in the thought process, bar by bar leading to creating patterns that we look at would be, does it accelerate at that time to new highs? Does it make a peekaboo high and form an M top, which would be much more reliable as a topping pattern in an area of resistance? And that would lead us into next week, where we come back together on Monday and go through the same process of trying to determine whether this unbelievably strong trend is ready to take a little break at a minimum. Qs, same thing. Got that bottoming tail bar, inside day yesterday. Red week here. Prices are gapping up into resistance, and a tail could be right. If it is, it's supportive of a bias that this could go higher, since there were buyers on the dip down here. We'll see if that actually follows through. The Russell, which has been the weakest in during this week of the major markets that we look at, pulling back for a few days. Not a big deal. It's coming into some support. Inside day yesterday, going nowhere. So far today, it's above that high. We'll see if it can hold on to it within the first 5 to 30 minutes or so. And of course, I'm going to be very interested to see where it closes at the end of the day. Onto the transports. A little bit more of a pullback into what would be a buy setup, not the highest quality type of buy setup, because it has a rounding top versus buy setups that are in an uptrend, something, well, something just like this, a V top and a type of, I guess a flag kind of a pattern. You got a bottoming tail bar. That's a much higher quality buy setup with a bottoming tail bar than something like this with a rounding top and a bottoming tail that couldn't follow through. So we'll see what happens there. And diamonds, similar to the other markets, red bar gapping up. We'll see what happens. S&Ps, and you can see it's just in a range. 5 around the whole week, right? The whole week here going nowhere. Above the open here, but a little doji kind of bar, right? Open and close about the same. What does that mean? It means that momentum is stalled, plain and simple. It doesn't mean, they have these names, these candlestick names, deadly dojis and ramis and all kinds of whatever. It basically is momentum increasing? Is it stalling or slowing? Or is it reversing like this? So far, we have no reversal. We just have a stolen momentum. We're on weight. Can it break below a prior week's low? That would be a sign of weakness within this current trend, but it would not violate the trend. And Qs, same thing. Looks a little better, right? With the futures here with that bottoming tail bar and so far, it's the early in the day, but this bar starting to move looks good, like it could go higher. We do have resistance up here to get through, which is the high of that topping tail. And death crossing bottomless doji of doom. That sounds like good marketing, Ladon. We have to write a chart of the week of that and then make a course that teaches how to trade those. I'm kidding. So as I look at patterns like this, it's early, it's not done. So it was, if this was a 5-minute chart and there was 1 minute, I'd say, well, I don't know what that's going to look like at the end of 5 minutes. So I don't know what that's going to look like at the end of the day. Maybe it's a big red bar closing down here. And that would be some type of event that would support that prices could go lower. Meanwhile, if it's a wide range bar breaking out here, that opens up the door to saying, hey, this market, while unbelievable in its strength in more than 2 decades, looks like it could go back up to the highs. So, we're day by day here, week by week. Trend is up. It's not giving it up. The volatility is shrinking with narrow range days and narrow bodies, which means it's difficult to find trading opportunities intraday because of the lack of movement. Whereas, not to say that it's impossible, but we had a great setup in LRCX and it just went nowhere. Like a lot of other stuff, just went nowhere. So a lot of stocks had inside days too. And I like to say it is what it is. We can't change what's happening. We just continue to do our factory work and wait for change to happen. We don't fight it. That's how traders go out of their minds, kind of just wanting what was making them money last week or last month. And they continue to try and do the same thing and get sliced and diced rather than accepting there's some change right now. It's not happening. So YM, nice little pattern going here, drift down, green bar. We'll see where it ends up. Bonds, on the other hand, now here's something, right? There was this reversal day, but it was within a trend. It was forming a trading range. So was this red bar going to follow through, or was it going to be followed by green bar, green bar, green bar like it had? Well, no, now it's moving down, which means interest rates are going up, which kind of relieves the pressure on, not that, relieves the pressure on these yield curves. And you can see how they've kind of starting to flip up here a little bit. So that was a short-term concern that brought the market down in September, October. So it's a good sign for bonds to be coming in. We'll see how this folds into what's happening in the markets, but those interest rates are going up. So now it's two-sided. Well, demand for money, right? You look at it that way, which maybe the economy is doing well. And if it is, these just become thoughts as to what may bring in the future. If it is, and those interest rates are going up, maybe we start hearing news of the Fed raising interest rates soon again. We shall see. And gold now pulling back toward its major support, but that little breakout now having failed. And oil just hanging at the high. Going to get turned around. Or is it an M top? But pretty much everything, except for, let's just say, bonds, came out of this range, this coma kind of trading that everything has been in over the last week, 2 weeks. And now, gold starting to give back here. So we'll see. Right now things aren't set up, that thing giving us clarity. So, we lighten up a little bit and we wait for that clarity to emerge, which it will. And that's where patience comes in here. So, okay, guys, that's it. I turn it over to Mr. Gibby.
All right. Good morning, folks. We'll do the normal drill here. Open positions. Hey, LaDon, yeah, good job on that Amazon. I remember I had both a long and a short. Let me rephrase. I had a bull put credit spread and bear call credit spread. Never triggered it, but I just sent out a pre-market alert that it looks great now for the put side. So that's a tier 1 setup for me here today. Other opens, Tilray, put spread, J&J, covered call at the 136s. So just let it get assigned or move stop break even. Insight, covered call. We have a full position with a tightened stop to lock in gains. Michael Jackson, put spread, looks fine. We've locked in a gain with our tightened stop. BRC has been lagging. We just got to sit through it. Apple, we have a covered call. We rolled them down, so that looks great. IYT, we covered half at 2/3 max profit, and I lowered the stop. Zen, I never triggered, but it's holding up well. Papa Echo, another laggard. We just got to sit through. ACB, pot stock, we're long. Tagatif, long. Echo Alpha, put spread. LRCX, call spread, it's gapping up here a little bit. Nothing to do. SPY, we gave a call spread yesterday. Our Q spread stopped out, and we have our stop in place, so nothing to do right now. Newell, we're short stock with a tightened stop, nothing to do there. And that's it. Let's look at some gappers. LaDon, okay, I tightened the stop yesterday to spot 7.2, and it just hit it here, 8.1. And I did that in the morning because we did a great job converting the loss into a gain by adding the further out of the money calls. But to answer your question, if you are in it, we just got to wait, if we just got to wait. So maybe 15-minute high, cut half, 30-minute high, the other half. Let's see what happens with the gap up here today. Zulu Sierra, Now this was one, was today Friday? On a Wednesday, I gave it as a buy and then I canceled it. I said, oh no, don't do it because of earnings. And, you know, that's fine. Gapped up here on earnings now, nothing to do, gapping all-time highs, but it's excessive. Look, Greg gave me this little guy pre-market he told me about. Look at this, is one of my favorite patterns. A bullish 1, 2, 3 from consolidation, weekly and monthly confirming. You know, I'm not going to chase it now, of course, but that was a beautiful setup. Pfizer, you know, the drug stocks have been doing really well. It's kind of a huge reverse head and shoulders. Let's keep an eye on that. Budweiser gapped up yesterday on earnings. You know, I don't know why it's gapping here today. Still has room on the weekly though. LUV. I guess the news was out yesterday, but I saw in the news this morning that they're saying, oh, that Warren Buffett is rumored to want to buy Southwest. So my guess is that's what got it going. 36.75. Wow. That's a big old ugly gap. Those symbols kind of look like it might be a biotech. Foxtrot Lima, 67. It's excessive, nothing to do. Marriott gap down is, you know, we'll just watch it. JWN, 48.25. 30-minute high. I like this W pattern on the weekly. I like the weekly a lot. Let me put that in a window. You know, daily's iffy, but beautiful W here. I would like it better if you didn't have so many football players here in the middle. If it were just a V. PTCT, nothing to do. 36 bucks. Wow, this thing was 140. 36 is like right here. There's, you know, a lot of air, nothing to do. GPS was in the news about them splitting off their old Navy store. And I don't know if that's the sole reason for this 25% gap or if they had earnings too. I don't know. Workday had earnings. Could be a 30-minute high. VMware 177. You know, I don't know what to do with this. It's a bullish gap, but it's been on a tear since. Look at this 1, 2, 3 right here. After a little breakdown failure, 1, 2, 3 right at resistance. Wow. I love, that's one of my, I say it all the time, it's one of my favorite patterns from consolidation. Let's write that down. Autodesk earnings 167. Again, these things are gapping, but they're extended. I mean, if we trade long, this is like just definitely getting on board a moving train. Look at Amazon here. I have it in a 5-minute window here in the middle. That looks fantastic. That's the best looking trade I've seen set up so far today. Edit 21, 30-minute high. We'll see. You know, I don't like the way it trades intraday. Triple D, 1445. Well, that's had a nice 40% run off the lows. It's kind of flat. You know, 30-minute high maybe. Here's Delphi that I was talking about into the close yesterday. Buy setup here. You know, it's a weekly. It's coming out of a bottom, so it's not. It would be better if this same pattern, if the weekly was in an uptrend, but we still could get a nice trade out of that. I will watch AER on my short watch, but it's on horizontal support. Nah, we can find better. Triple Z Zulu, that's a short watch. Galing is a continuation short, but it really need a bounce. CTOS up a little bit. It's just another strong churning uptrend. Red bars ignored. Oh, I posted this, folks, as a to our swing trading letter. Zawo, look, ugly red bar, bearish consolidation, a little minor 1, 2, 3, and engulfing, showing relative weakness to the market. So if it triggers, has a price void, bearish weekly. So I like patterns like that. You just post them, and they're only going to trigger if they're weak. SQ, I put this as a watch. I love the bearish gap that bullies closed. I had a breakout, weekly breakout. This thing can go to 87, 90 bucks. Why not? So I like square. CellG. Hey, trader, can you put your thing to panelists and attendees? If this stays weak, let's watch this for an intraday short. ACAD, I had that. Yesterday morning I was saying, hey, if it closed like this, it was a 1, 2, 3, and it kept going. So it's not a 1, 2, 3 anymore. Adobe, well, was strong yesterday. This one, if we go long, I'm going to do the ones that have been resting, not the ones where they're up 30% in 2 months. Sky, beautiful sell setup on the weekly. It's on support here. I'll keep an eye on that as a short. Square, we mentioned. CellG mentioned. TJX is kind of a 1, 2, 3-ish. Yesterday's high was a little bit higher. CGC, I had loaded up as a put spread, but I never triggered it. Look, all markets make a new pre-market highs here. Wow. All right, I think I'm pretty much done. That looks like a buyout. DSM, it's trading on the 15. ACAD, just mentioned. Apple, we're in. Algen, nothing to do. I'm just cleaning up old ones here. Oh, sir. This was our short under this bar's low. That came from Alex. That worked. 2 minutes to go. V-cell, see garbage. I'm just house cleaning now. Ooh, that had a bullish weekly and ugly day yesterday. You're gone. Square, duplicate. Stamp, garbage, EX8S. We were long a covered call, stopped out at a profit yesterday. WDC got sloppy, you're gone. Baidu, that's lagging. That's sure lagging BABA in the Chinese sector. VLRS, we were long that stock too and got trail stopped. CBS, nothing to do with that now, but that was the bearish earnings gap. On DBC, commodities, Yeti, IPO that I'm watching.